Look at all this loot! DJ, none for you! Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and I've finally been given the green light to review the upgraded Nemesis hoppers sent to me by Gyrosoft over the course of the last couple years? I think I honestly don't remember how long it was ago that they sent me the original ones. But they're very, very cool, and I've got all of the ones that he sent here, and I'm going to go through kind of the evolution just because it's cool to me, and we'll talk about the newest ones, which will be the ones that will be going into production the most, of course. But starting, we have just a stock Nemesis hopper here. It holds around 100 rounds. There were ways to make it take a little bit more. If you were modding your blaster, there was areas that you could Dremel out and open up a little more area, and you could cram a few more in there if you felt like it. It had jam door, obviously, which did have a linkage here that would, when the jam door was open, it would deactivate or activate a safety, I suppose you could say. So if the blaster did not have the hopper in and have the jam door shut, the blaster would not work unless that safety was disabled, which we typically do when we mod the blasters. But on a stock blaster, that little tab right there sticking down was necessary for the blaster to operate, which is important, as we will see later on here. So the first ones that I got sent were these ones, and I don't know what version these were. There wasn't a version number on them. They could be version 1.0 for all I know, though I doubt it. There were probably several iterations in by the time we got to this. And it consists of a grand total of 5 parts. There was the locking lug section here, a front cap, a mid section, a back section, and the door. And on this version, they were all self-clipped together. There's no hardware involved in it. There's no screws, there's no bolts, no nuts, no nothing. It all just clipped in and locked in, and it was a brilliant bit of engineering the way they did it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see in there, but you can kind of see the little self-locking tab in there, and that's what held that front lug on. And I don't know how the tabs in these work, but it clearly sockets in and something in there then locks. Which is pretty neat, but it clearly wasn't as structurally sound as he wanted. Like, you can hear the rattle here. This section's a little bit loose. It's not too bad here, but apparently Gyrosoft was not satisfied with that. And so in the second wave that he sent me, and this is version 2.2.1, version numbers will kind of come up later, he went away from that self-locking design and went to one that's screwed together. So now it's 4 parts. I don't know if he got a larger printer, because now this whole front section is one piece, so that's one less part. The locking lug is still apart, the jam door is still apart, and this end cap is still apart, but now they are held in with screws. There's 4 screws holding the end cap on, and then there are, you're probably not going to be able to see, but there's 2 screws in there holding that front lug on. This is the version that I went ahead and made into the magazine, or the proton pack fed one, and I'm glad I did that. I mean, this is a solid version, and I dig it. The thing I was going to mention is that on all of his versions, that little tab is there. That's the little tab that will disable the jam door and or hopper safety, so that these can be used with a stock Nemesis. You do not have to modify your Nemesis to be able to use these, and that's a very good feature. And it's just a simple little tab that gets added on there to disable that safety, which is cool. I have seen some designs that didn't have that, and so if you hadn't modded your blaster, you couldn't use your expanded hopper. And some people don't want to mod their blaster, they just want more capacity. So that's a good feature. The final version, which is version 2.4.1, is similar to this one. It's got the same number of screws, same number of parts, but it has been made a little bit bigger. I do not know exactly what the capacity of this one was, but as you can see, this one is significantly bigger. It now holds 400 rounds, which for a Nemesis is fairly impressive, and I dig it. They all have Picatinny rail, both on the top and on the sides. If you wanted to attach, in my case, another proton pack blaster, you could attach a Harrier, you could attach ammo clip or ammo canisters, so you could reload. You could do all sorts of things. It's Picatinny rail. You can put whatever you want on there. You can put an optic on the top. Silly, but an option. Now, the one feature that they don't have is they don't have this gate system on the bottom that the stock ones had, which allowed you to take this off without the ammo just dumping all over the place. And unfortunately, these don't have that. You could potentially design some kind of a cap that went on there so that you could carry multiples of these on your person to quick reload, but frankly, if you're going through multiple 400 round hoppers, you might want to rethink some things in general. But there would hypothetically be a way that you could put some kind of a cap on these and be able to carry multiple ones. Obviously, if you were going to then reload, you'd need to flip the blaster over and reload with it facing upward after you took the cap off. But yeah, they're a really cool design, and just as a personal note, he put the logo on my logo on the doors of all but the red one. So the red one didn't have that, but all the others have my logo on the door, which is just the coolest thing ever. Obviously, the ones that will be sold will probably be blank. I don't know what color options he's going to have. Obviously, he decided to stick with orange and black for the majority of it. I do have a red Nemesis, so I like that I have a red one, and then I've got my orange and black one, and the orange ones will go on any color one because it's orange on a Nerf blaster. So I'm gonna go grab two Nemesis so you can kind of see how these things look and fit, and decide for yourself if it's gonna be too bulky, too weird, too whatever. But let's take a look. So I have both my modded Nemesis and a stock one. There isn't gonna be, probably won't be any firing footage, partly because it's damp at the moment, but because it really isn't, in my opinion, necessary. So that's what it looks like with a stock one on there. Lined up along the top. They were fun blasters, and at the time, just an obscene amount of capacity, but we quickly wanted more, because we're never satisfied, because we never should be. So if we put this one on here, just as a test, this is stock, and it will rev. This has got old batteries in it, but the red doesn't look too bad. It's not a perfect match, but it's close enough that it really looks nice. And in my opinion, this size, it doesn't make it too hugely bulky. It doesn't make it a whole lot wider, though it does make it a little bit. And it does make it a little bit taller, but not to the point that you can't see over the top of it. And this is kind of a, you know, spray and pray kind of blaster anyway. You're not going to be going for precision. So having it block your line of sight is really kind of not a big issue, because if you're shouldering this and actually trying to sight down it, I think you've missed the point of this particular blaster. But let's take a look at the big one. How much bigger does it feel? It doesn't feel that much different. It's already a big bulky blaster, which, as we know, I like. It does make it a bit wider now, and it is, again, taller, but that's at the comes with an extra 100 round capacity. So again, kind of up to you if this is the size you really want to go with. There are ones that are bigger out there, but I think this is an excellent compromise for this particular blaster. If you're looking for, 800 round capacities and whatnot, now you're looking into probably better off with a Prometheus or a proton pack of some kind. This is still manageable because this is, still going to be carried like a regular blaster, though you could put a carry handle up here, actually. That'd be kind of nice. Or you could put, a sling on here. Again, you could put a sling mount up here or something, and be able to carry it a little bit, because 400 rounds of ammunition, even though it's foam, does start to add up and weigh on you a bit. That's the nice thing about it being lipoed, is it's a lot less weight, whereas this one still has all those D cells, or possibly a rechargeable. I don't even know what's in there anymore. Yeah. So this is the one that I believe will be in production. This is the version 2.4.1. And the reason I specifically mentioned the version numbers is because this is a particularly good example of just how costly prototyping is, and why I don't have any issue paying for STLs. I've actually had people argue quite vocally that they believe that nobody should ever be charging for STLs in this hobby, that all STLs should be free and made available to anybody. And I disagreed, because I understood that there is a lot of cost that goes into things like prototyping, because I got 6 different of these hoppers, and they're all newer versions, different features, And they're not even sequential. So this is 2.2.1, this is 2.4.1. So there's a whole version in there that had to have been printed and tested and probably printed multiple times. And these are not quick, easy prints. This is a lot of filament. And the amount of time it takes to do all the prototyping, the amount of time it takes to do all the printing, the cost of the filament, the cost of printing adds up. And because of that, of what I know goes into the development of really good products like this, I have no problem paying $5, $7, $10, $15 for an STL to support the designer so that they can continue to design stuff. Now, people who have the time and the resources and are able to put their STLs out there for free, that's really, really cool, but it should never be demanded or expected, in my opinion. And the fact that I have 6 expanded hoppers here blows my mind. It's really, really cool. I don't know what I will use them all for. I don't think I have 6 Nemesis, nor do I have currently any. I mean, I could probably just put a bag and a rubber band over here to keep the rounds from falling out if I wanted to. Or something Picatinny rail attached. Ooh. Hey, Gyrosoft, could you design something that attaches to the Picatinny rail that creates a cover and then hooks onto the other side of the Picatinny rail that then pops off and you could slap on? Somebody do the thing. This is why I talk out loud while I film. Anyway, this stuff is pretty awesome. You know what? I can fling some foam here in the shop. I will fling some foam from one of these just so you can see them in action, because I know you love your firing footage. Here we go. It's now thoroughly raining. I'm glad I didn't try to film outside. Anyway, I don't know how many rounds I've got in here, probably 100 or so, and we're just gonna dump it to see if it works at all. Got them all. Anyway, yeah. Expanded hopper by Gyrosoft. Get yourself one.